Hi, thanks for tuning in. So I'm Nick from Granada Estate Agency. As we said, we're going to be bringing you lots of information about buying properties in Spain, whatever area you buy in. This channel is all about purchasing properties in Spain. Today, our subject is going to be all about currency exchange. So we're going to be talking to Daniel from EXCEL Currency. Okay, Daniel, tell us a bit about yourself.
Hi there, guys. My name's Dan, and yeah, I work for the company EXCEL Currencies, and we're the exclusive currency partners with Nick and Granada Estate Agency. I've been doing this myself for about 12 years now, so you could say pretty experienced to say the least. And the company itself, we've been helping clients buy and sell property abroad for 20 years now. We actually turned 20 years old as a business on Friday, on the 5th of July. So
Congratulations.
thank you. Yeah, we're going through a little celebration period, you could call it at the moment.
Awesome. That's great. So Daniel, what is currency? What's a currency company, and why do clients need to be using a currency company when they buy abroad?
So first and foremost, the reason why us companies started to exist in the first place was because of the banks owning the monopoly when it came to people needing to exchange currency and making overseas payments. They were the only option for a very, very long time. And then that's where our industry was born from. Our story in particular, Carl actually worked at Barclays for a period of time, saw or worked out how much the banks were actually profiting on some of the exchanges these clients were making, upwards of 5% in some cases on some exchanges, which is where we was born from initially, to undercut what the banks were offering clients in the first place, saving them probably anywhere from 2 to 3% on the exchange itself. So to put it into monetary terms, to ballpark it, you're going to be looking at around £2,000 to £3,000 cheaper with us than what it would do with the bank, just as a starting point. And of course, as well, when you buy a property abroad, you're going to be subject from the point of where you put your deposit down to when you actually complete on the property. You're going to have a completion window there, and that could be 6, 8, sometimes 12 weeks. And the exchange rate can move anywhere from, again, 2 to 3% in a 4-week window. So when you calculate how much you could potentially be spending extra if the exchange rate goes against you, it's best to have a specialist in your corner just to not so much advise you, but to help you create some kind of strategy to put the odds in your favor as best as possible when you do enter the market and its fluctuations.
Okay. So when do people need to be starting to look at this on their searches?
I would say right from the very off, just to get an idea. What we say to our clients is it's best to get as much information you can from us from the early stages as soon as you can. So that by the time you are or have found a property to purchase, you're in a position to you've already educated yourself in the sense of the word of how things work, how the process works. You have an understanding of really how much the exchange rates do move. And you'll also have an idea of, I was looking at a property and the exchange rate was at this point, now it's at this point. So it's kind of looking at it that way, as in, I've seen the rate be up at 120, for example,
Yeah.
and now we're at 115. I need to have a conversation with a specialist to be like, am I going to be able to get up towards 120 again? Is that even a possibility? Or should we be strategizing a way to possibly go ahead with an exchange now because the exchange rate looks like it's going to fall further against us?
Yeah. So you forecast the market basically.
It as best as we can. Of course, none of us have a crystal ball. It's
Yeah.
impossible for anyone to really know where the exchange rate is going to end up. It'll all come down to what economic data is being released, what's going on in the world in terms of politics. I mean, in the last couple of years, few years really, since the pandemic, it's just been absolutely crazy. In terms of what's been going on in the world and what's been impacting exchange rates. For example, the war in Russia and Ukraine, that caused massive
Yeah.
uncertainty. And of course, then the war between Israel and Palestine, that causes more uncertainty again. The politics that's going on at the moment with the general election that's now passed, the general elections in France, it just seems to be so much going on at the moment, which is causing this massive uncertainty for traders, because a lot of things that people don't quite understand with the fluctuations, as much as it has got something to do with what's coming out in the news, it's really got no impact on it whatsoever. The impact comes from the investors, the people that want to buy sterling, the people that want to buy euros, and how much of each want that currency pair. And depending on which way they want to push, will strengthen the other currency, of course, which is influenced by world events. But really, anything can happen in a blink of an eye, just because that's what traders want to do. And that can even come down to because it's hit a specific resistance point, or a specific support level as well. So these are all things that we take into consideration when we strategize with clients.
Okay. So what kind of securities do the clients have that their money's going to be safe?
Yeah, so this is one of our biggest things, of course. We want to make sure our clients are fully aware that any funds that are held with us for any reason, overnight or longer, are held in segregated client accounts. Now, these accounts are very similar to what solicitors will use for when you buy a property, you will send into their client account. Very, very similar to us. And these are completely separate from our own company accounts. So let's say we was to fail as a business, all the funds are returned to you in full as a client.
Okay. So what countries do you deal with mainly? What kind of clients from what countries?
The main ones, of course, Spain, being the biggest. There's
Yeah.
also a foothold in France and Cyprus, Italy as well. There's some bits going on over in America,
Okay.
and that's the majority of where the people that we help.
So basically, if a client was to go onto our website and click on your link, from there, what's the process?
So from there, they would head on to our website. They could first go through maybe request a quote. We have that option on our website. You can also request a call back for myself to give you a call to go through any further information or any particular questions that you might have. And once you're satisfied or you wanted to go straight ahead with a registration, you can just sign up with us there and then, fill out a very short registration form, takes about 2 minutes to complete, and then from there, you're then receiving the registration form email, and then from there, we can open the account for you there and then.
Okay. So when clients open the account, they have access, they have like a back office or something that they can go onto and see.
Yeah, exactly. So once the account is opened, we then, as a company and our accounts team, will send you your unique banking details. You'll have two sets of details, one in the name of the currency cloud and a little bit about them. They are our banking providers. They're who all of the funds and accounts are held with, and they're also a subsidiary of Visa. So the absolutely giant, colossal international payment services company. They actually bought the currency cloud back in 2021 for around £800 million.
Wow.
It was Visa's way of tapping into the UK financial technology space, and they chose the currency cloud, which is of course another reason why we've really backed them as well, because they are of course backed by the giants such as Visa.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, that's where funds are held on account, and you also have another set of details which are in your own personal name. So you have your own personal account with us as well. And any
Okay.
details we send come from onto a statement, and on the statement it's fully password protected as well. So the password, of course, is only for you to access them details, or if you wanted to forward it to a solicitor, for example, which some of our clients do, you can then say the password to them over the phone as well, so they can access it to have a look. Yeah.
Is there any kind of like minimum amount that you recommend that people could send?
Yeah, so what we recommend is when people first open the account with us, we'd always recommend an initial tester payment into the account itself. So when you send in, say, 10, 20, £30, whatever you did want to pop into the account, you can send that in initially. see how the process works of funds from yourself into the account with us. And then we can also set up viewing permissions on the platform itself, so you can actually log in and view your account and have a look at all the transactions, deposits, and everything that's going on inside the account.
Right, okay. And is there any kind of like paperwork you need from clients when they're setting up the account?
So the only thing we would need when opening up an account would be forms of ID and a proof of address if we can't get a match on the client on the electoral roll. So, for example, a passport or driving license, something as simple as that. And then when it comes to actually making an exchange, we're a fully authorized and regulated FCA company. So we have to abide to certain rules to satisfy the FCA's AML regulations, the anti-money laundering regulations, which is just a case of satisfying that the source of funds are legitimate in the sense of the word. In most places, innocent until proven guilty. With this industry, you're guilty until proven innocent.
Yeah.
So we need to get all the documents to satisfy source of funds beforehand. So everything goes smoothly with the payment, because with any large transaction, especially for a property, it will be stopped for compliance. There's no two ways about it. So we make sure everything is in hand before, so the
Yeah.
payment goes through smoothly for the client. And the documents we need, very, very straightforward. Of course, it would just come down to having that conversation with the client of where the source of funds have come from. To give you an example, if it's coming from a property sale in the UK, all we would need to have is the contract of the sale itself and seeing the funds come into your bank account from the solicitors that you used for the completion. So a couple of documents, and that's all we would need to satisfy AML on that side.
That's awesome. Okay. We've covered quite a lot, Daniel, really. So we've given people a basic start to looking at a currency company. Well, thank you very much for talking to us today, Daniel.
Thank you for having me, Nick.
Yeah, we'll speak again soon.
Brilliant. Perfect.
All right, thank you very much.
Cheers.
So it's great to speak to Daniel from EXCEL Currency Exchange. Stay tuned for more videos and podcasts in the future. We're going to be talking about all different kinds of products, such as visas, removal companies, bringing your pet to Spain, all kinds of different topics, different kinds of lands. When you buy land in Spain, like urban land, rustic land, we're going to be speaking to lawyers. We're going to be talking about mortgages in Spain. And then we're also going to be talking about our area on some podcasts as well, which is the Granada area. So stay tuned, and we'll see you all again soon. If you are looking at currency exchange, wherever you're buying in Spain, so you go onto our website and the following link, which you can see on the description of the podcast. If you click on Daniel's link, then you can contact him to talk about currency exchange today. Okay, thank you.